Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks. So I'm up here in Portland on business, and I thought I would come to the wet spot. I'm sure you've heard about this place before. Take a little video and share it with all of you. First things that you notice when you walk into the store is this giant Malawi cichlid tank. It's like 10 feet long. I forgot the gallons, but it's giant, it's huge, really cool. This tank over here I thought was kind of interesting with the Buddha, so I wanted to just kind of capture it, just kind of a little display tank that they have. Here you can see a lot of their dry goods, obviously a lot of tanks, different types of wood, spider wood, etc. Tons of lights, tons of fish foods, apparel, etc. Now there are a lot of tanks in the store. I didn't really, even though this video is pretty long, I didn't film every single tank. It's just way too much to do. So definitely if you're going to be in the Pacific Northwest, if you're going to be in Oregon, anywhere near Portland, definitely you want to make this a destination to come and see it for yourself. What I will do though is I spent a little bit more time in this room. There are a lot of cichlids in this room, and that's kind of surprising to me because for the most part I think a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest keep a lot of planted tanks, etc., and they have a ton of cichlids. So obviously you have your normal, not normal, but your New World cichlids, your the angels that you see here. But what is amazing is how many African cichlids they have. Now here you can see some mbuna, and we'll see some peacocks later on. But it's not just Malawi cichlids. They have Tanganyikan cichlids, they have Victorian cichlids, so really cool. A lot of discus. I'm a real sucker for discus. One day, I'm gonna have a discus tank. I put my finger up next to this arowana just to show you how small it was. It's an arowana in a tank with discus, but that arowana was probably 4 inches long at best. So some more beautiful discus. I really do like discus. I think initially I was kind of scared off because I know that they can be a little bit more sensitive to water parameters, but I think with my fish husbandry and the amount of time that I spend doing water changes, I can take care of them. These are really cool. I had to make sure that I got their names, which is the elongated buffalo heads, another East African fish. So you can see here all these tanks along this side of the wall are kind of all their big tanks. I think they're 125s. Maybe even some of them are bigger, but they're all 6-foot tanks up here. Now this tank had some pretty interesting cichlids, and I think this is a tank that had this really large hap, or maybe it's not this one but the next one. But anyway, obviously some beautiful peacocks in here, some small haps. This is a tank that had this big hap. So there's a compressiceps and some other fish in here, but then all of a sudden, look at this guy. This giant hap swimming around in this tank. Now, you might think, wait a minute, like it doesn't seem that big. Well, these other fish are all like 5 or 6 inches long plus, and then this fish is just, dwarfing these other fish. Just a really, really big, big hap. So anyway, I was really fascinated with this fish. I stared at it for a long time, even off camera. More cichlids, lots and lots of cichlids. So they do matin filters in here as well. Here you can see some more discus. Now, one of the things with discus that is kind of maybe I've shied away from is they don't seem very active, but so beautiful. I think I might do a planted tank with some discus one day. Here we have some New World cichlids next to the Africans. So again, some really beautiful fish here. And quite large. So it's interesting to see large cichlids and large fish in a fish store. I do see them like at my local fish store where I go, because they specialize in large predatory fish and not discus, but large predatory fish and cichlids. I said discus because I was staring at the cichlid at the discus there, but not too often do you see larger cichlids in stores, because usually they're small and they get sold off. But they had some really beautiful ones. You can see that longfin geophagus there up top. I've kept geophagus before. Really fun, great fish. This tank is really interesting. So these severums, I've never seen Severums that are this color. I mean, I've seen a lot of different Severums over the years, but these ones were really special in my opinion. And obviously there's another Geophagus there and some other fish, but I spent a lot of time staring at this tank as well. And I remember the last time I was here, I was actually talking to one of the employees about these Severums, and I forgot the backstory. And then when I asked on this trip, the person that I spoke to last time wasn't able to give me that information because she wasn't there. But anyway, pretty cool. Some more display tanks over here. I think they've got a Victorian tank over here, and this, not this one, but the next one, Lake Victoria. Obviously they have some fish from Lake Tanganyika as well, which we'll see here in a moment. I keep going back to these Discus just because they're so colorful, so bright. Here's the tank here that I was just fascinated with, and just seeing again, you don't see Lake Victorian fish very often, not in fish stores at least, and just neat to see them here. There's some Cyprochromis, looks like some Calvus, some other Tanganyikan fish, but again, really interesting to see the wide variety of fish in the store. And I just it was just like being in Disneyland for someone who's so into cichlids, obviously, that I am, and to see so many. And I remember when I was there last time that they had cichlids, but I just didn't remember that they had so many. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking for a while and just kind of let you guys enjoy the fish, and I'll probably chime back in here in a little bit. So as you can see, so many amazing fish, and I think we're only about halfway dead at this point. Here's some young Frontosa. Anytime that I find a local fish store that has such a wide variety, it really speaks volumes to the people that work there. I will say that they were very welcoming. Very nice and you know, answered questions for me. I talked to the owner. You know, again, accommodating. The staff were, you know, helpful in answering questions. So that really shows that you know, they're a very engaged a business, and I think they, you know, do a very good job. Obviously, they keep a lot of different fish and cater to a lot of different people, especially if you're into freshwater fish. Again, more Tanganyikan fish here. I'm just geeking out on these fish. Hopefully, you know, you also enjoy the wide variety of fish that they carry. Now, again, we're only in half of the store at this point. We're not even in the other half where they have you know, the planted tanks and the smaller fish and you know, tetras and barbs and things like that. So at this point, we're going to kind of walk down the aisle here, and we're going to loop around where the front counter is. But first, I'm going to stop and take a look at these tanks. So these are some more display tanks. So they can have some unique display tanks in different parts of the store. Here you can see this one here in the kind of the front window area. Some, you know, pretty, you know, fancy goldfish, some, you know, nice looking goldfish here. And it's a good way to kind of display how people should be keeping goldfish in a larger aquarium, obviously, versus a small 10-gallon tank. Some of their nano tanks with some different setups. Again, you know, really interesting just to see, you know, different ways that you can keep aquariums, anything from a really large, you know, 125-gallon plus, you know, African cichlid tank down to a little 5-gallon tank, or, you know, something different. So anyway, I like the way that they have kind of displayed things and shown different ways in which people can keep fish. Obviously some small tanks there on the counter as well. Peeking back over here at Lake Malawi, we're going to capture the sign this time. And now I guess what we'll do is we'll go down the other hallway, not the other hallway, but the other part of the room. And I didn't take as much footage of the tanks on this side, again, because, you know, I'm kind of a cichlid geek and I spent so much time on the other side and didn't spend a whole lot of time filming on this side. But there are some pretty tanks, so I'm going to shut up again here in a second and just kind of let you guys take a look around. So as I was admiring these African butterfly fish, one of the employees, and I feel bad I forgot her name, she came up and she was chatting with me and wanted to show me this little room in the back. And I had been here before and I'd seen this room, but she wanted to show me this one of their puffers back here. So they recently got a new puffer, and they were pretty excited to show the puffer, and thought it would be fun for me to capture on film. So I do love puffers. I've never kept puffers. One day, you know, I think that might be good if I have a large enough tank, or maybe I'll keep some smaller pea puffers or something. But you know, a lot of personality, and I do enjoy fish with personality. Here you can see another one of their display tanks. So this little room is almost like a little sitting room. So it's kind of designed for people that just need to take a break, or maybe they were, came along, they, tagged along with whoever the fish geek is and their family, and they just want a place to sit and relax and stare at their phone or something while they're waiting, so they can sit down in this beautiful room and enjoy some of these larger display tanks. So some big clown loaches and, some other fish in here, obviously. That planet tank was pretty beautiful, and then obviously as that puffer grows, that's going to be pretty amazing as well. I did want to capture a little bit of the hardscape that they have. So kind of funny that I was filming rocks and I was kind of walking around the store filming at people's feet, but I kind of cut out most of it. But just wanted to show you how much the stuff they have. And then before I go, bettas. I love bettas. I think this is kind of an interesting way to keep them in these beautiful little glass jars, and then you have the paper between the jars so that the fish can't see each other, otherwise they'll be flaring up the whole time and getting all excited. Hey everyone, so I was in the wet spot and got some pretty good footage, I think, so hopefully you enjoyed. I will preface this by saying that I didn't just show up and decide to start filming. In fact, I was here several months ago, and when I was here, I spoke to the manager. The manager said that really to take pictures or to film, you should have some permission from the owner and the manager. So I called ahead of time. I called last week, spoke to the manager, and just made sure that they were aware that they were coming. And then today I introduced myself to the owner, and she wasn't expecting me, but was very gracious in allowing me to film and talk to me for a while. She didn't want to be on camera, but really it's a great store. If you are anywhere in the greater Portland area, if you're anywhere in Oregon, it's definitely worth the trip. And they do ship fish. So if you saw any of the fish in the video today, and if there's something that you like, they do have a website and they do ship fish all across the country. So might be something that you might be interested in. I did talk to her a little bit about water parameters, and for the most part, all the fish here are kept at right around 7.2 because that's what's easiest for hobbyists when they're going from the store tanks to their tanks. Obviously, for their Malawi cichlids, their Tanganyikan cichlids, and their Victorian cichlids, they keep those at higher pHs, obviously. But anyway, I was really surprised. I had been here before and I forgot how many African cichlids they have. So here in the Northwest, most people are really interested in planted tanks and things of that nature, but they have so many cichlids here. It's amazing. If I lived anywhere within driving distance of this store, I would be spending pockets full of money to get some of these fish. There was one happen there, I think you saw him in the video, that was just so huge and so brilliant, and that Victorian tank was so cool. Makes me want to maybe do a Victorian tank at home one day for a display tank. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your comments down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.